Walk us through kind of what changed for you with the pandemic.
Well, I would say the main thing that happened for me when the COVID shutdowns happened was that my workload increased dramatically. There were a lot of our events team and field marketers that were used to putting on in-person events now had to shift to a digital format. And a lot of people were coming to me for advice in terms of what we could do to host a conference online, what we could do to host regional events that would pertain to a certain geographic region and have it in a virtual format that would be engaging. So that was the main thing. It wasn't just where I was putting on a weekly show, so to speak, in terms of like, we have a certain subject that we're going to focus on this week and go and then cover that on a regular basis. It was like, how do we create like this giant virtual conference of like multiple events happening simultaneously that people can walk in and out of and engage with on a regular basis? And so that was a really great growing experience. I got to learn so much from what other folks are doing in different industries, and also see what our customers are doing at the same time during this era to accommodate to their customers and their businesses virtually as well.
That's great. So sounds like pretty much overnight you became the in-house guru of all things digital events and webinars, as the rest of the field teams were now coming to you for advice and best practices.
Yeah, I would have to commend like our whole team. We were very nimble through the whole process, and a lot of us just really hunkered down and made sure that we were able to provide our customers and prospects with virtual experience that was authentic, engaging, and provided them with the information and resources they need to move forward with their own work as we're going through this together.
So before we segue, I want to quickly ask one last question related to this topic. What was the single biggest lesson that you learned in the transition from pre-COVID to COVID?
The single biggest lesson, good question. I mean, I don't know if there's one single biggest lesson, but I mean, I think the one thing that I could say that would be, I think what the single biggest lesson I learned was just how to provide virtual education to a variety of different audiences in different areas around the globe. And because everyone learns in different ways. And there was a lot of things I had to learn in terms of how do you provide that authenticity of going to a conference in a virtual experience. It's one thing to kind of produce a program or a webinar that is very much like a television talk show, but to really recreate like a like a conference and a virtual experience, that really provided like some different innovative ideas in terms of like how you provide those extra touch points to audience members, whether it be additional polls, whether it be like a random survey that comes up just to gain more interest, or just providing more insightful Q&A sessions that would follow up after an event. And so there was a lot of creativity involved with the whole group just to provide more different ways that we could engage with our audience as opposed to a standard webinar or a standard in-person event. It was really an experience of like, how do we bring that in-person event into a virtual experience? But more importantly, a lot of the things we also had to learn were, if you could not attend that live event, how do you bring that virtual experience to an on-demand format that individuals could consume on their own time, but also make it easier for them to consume it while they're doing other tasks as well?
That's great. That's such a great insight that porting events to the virtual world is non-trivial. Recreating those different engagement points actually takes a lot of creativity and effort.